In the book of Psalms, the 51st chapter, we read, "Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me." And in the New Testament, it tells us to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. And so our ceremony today is about renewal. It's about releasing the past, letting go of all the things that we no longer want to carry around with us, all of the unwanted thoughts, feelings, habits, actions that no longer serve us. And we don't want to judge ourselves or condemn ourselves for any mistakes we feel that we've made, because everything that we've done has led us to this point today. Our whole lives have got us to where we are right now. This is a sacred moment. It's a divine appointment. It's an invitation that you answered this morning to show up and say, yes, here I am. I'm ready to transform. I'm ready to change. I'm ready to let go of what no longer serves me or serves the highest good for everybody, and then welcome in the divine idea that wants to be expressed as me. Yes? Are you ready? Yes. I'm ready. Yes. So we have three parts to our ceremony today. We have a forgiveness meditation, a burning bowl, and a white stone ceremony. I'll talk about the burning bowl and the white stone here in a minute, but first we want to talk about forgiveness. And if you remember, we teach that there are four primary spiritual laws about prosperity here, and one of them, a never-ending one it seems like, is forgiveness. Forgiveness work. And in the book of Matthew chapter 5, we read this: when you're offering your gift at the altar, if you remember that your brother or your sister has something against you, leave your gift at the altar and go. First be reconciled to your brother or sister, and then come and offer your gift. If we're holding on to resentment, if we're holding on to a grudge, we're stepping on the hose of our own prosperity. These unreleased feelings, these unexamined feelings, these unfelt feelings are what blocks us from the sunlight of the Spirit. Not only receiving God's light, but being God's light in the world. Because the only place that we can be separated from God really is in our heart and in our mind. The truth is, we are the light of God in expression. But we have to get all of that gunk out of the way that blocks it from coming out. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be at the end of my life and still have issues with my parents. Hello? I've done so much forgiveness work in my life. My parents are no longer on the planet, and I feel good with both of them. I talk to them all the time. I still feel like, especially my mom, is with me. You know the Southern thing of every time you see a red bird, it's your grandmother or your mom, right? Well, my mom shows up in my backyard almost every day, and I have absolutely no regrets. No regrets with my parents whatsoever. I was there at their bedside, both of them, when they passed away. That feels really good. I am not carrying anything around like, you treated me wrong, blah, 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 all of that. So all of that stuff that we hang on to keeps us from experiencing the good that God has in store for us. Because we weren't meant to live a life of sorrow and pain and struggle. We're meant to live, we're created to live full out, to enjoy our lives, and to be of service to God and to others. The only way that we can do that is by getting all of this stuff we're hanging on to out. And so we're going to do a little work this morning. Are you ready for that? Yeah. Now just know you might be touching a place inside of you that's a little sore or a little tender, and that's okay. This is a safe and sacred place. We call this a sanctuary. It is safe and sacred not because the building is a holy place. It's because you're in it. is because we got together this morning and we decided that this is a safe and sacred place for us to do our forgiveness work this morning. So, we recall the truth this morning that we are spirit, perfect, whole, holy, and harmonious. We are everything that God is. We are spirit. Spirit is God. God can never be hurt, sick, or afraid. If God is all there is, then nothing and no one can ever be against us. Everything is for us. The universe is conspiring to bring you your good every moment. So let's take a little time in the silence to just be still. Take a couple of deep breaths with me. Allow your chair to support you. Relax into this moment. Just feel the presence of love in this room. God is love. Love is all there is. God is all there is. God is right here in this room. The light of God, the love of God enfolds us. Can you feel that love enfolding you this morning? To the best of your ability, just feel the presence here in this room, moving in and through you. Open your heart. Open your mind. And from this still, quiet place, I invite you to call to mind any person or incident in your life that you're choosing to forgive this morning. Bring into your consciousness all those you wish to forgive, to bless this morning with your forgiveness. We recognize the intensity of the emotions that this might bring up for us, but we don't judge ourselves. We don't condemn ourselves or criticize ourselves for the way that we feel. We choose to transform our hurts and our anger to feelings of harmony, love, and peace. And we don't have to do this by ourselves. The first step in this process is the willingness to forgive. I am willing to forgive. I ask God's help in learning forgiveness. So I invite you, if you're led, to affirm this with me. I'll state the affirmation and then ask you to repeat it. I am willing to forgive.
I am willing to forgive.
I ask God's help.
I ask God's help
in learning forgiveness.
in learning forgiveness.
I am willing to forgive.
I am willing to forgive.
Now let's just rest in stillness for a moment. Let's now address the people or the situations that we are forgiving. And once again, I'll affirm and ask you to reaffirm. By the power of the great I am, and in the consciousness of Jesus Christ, I forgive you. And I ask your forgiveness. Once again, let us rest in the stillness. During the next part of our service, we have an opportunity to release any thoughts, feelings, habits, or ways of being that no longer serve us. This is our burning bowl. And for the white stone, we will spend time in contemplation, receiving the divine idea, the word that we're here to express in 2024. This ritual represents the unity ideas of negation and affirmation. We negate the unreal and we affirm the real. We negate the untrue and we affirm the truth. And what is the truth? God is all there is, and we are everything that God is. This is what we mean when we say truth, capital T, truth, in New Thought. God is all there is, and we are everything God is. God is all there is, and I am everything that God is. Will you affirm that with me? God is all there is, and I am everything God is. Once more. God is all there is, and I am everything God is. In the Gospel of Luke, the 3rd chapter, 16th verse, we read, He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and with fire. So here in a moment, I'm going to ask you to write down on a piece of paper everything that you're willing to let go of. Did everybody get a paper and a pen when they came? If you did not get one, raise your hand. And, all right. Thank you, Betty and June. Good job. So everybody's got one. So we're going to spend a little time thinking about what we want to release, and then we're going to take it outside and put it in the fire and give it to God. Let the power of the sacred fire transform you. And here's a little affirmation that you can use when you put your paper in the fire. You can say, this has no power over me. Write down whatever it is you're willing to let go of, and then affirm as you put it in the fire, this has no power over me. So we'll go down the hall, out the white door at the end. So you'll go straight down that way, go out into the courtyard, and there's a fire pit. Kim and Josie are out there. So you put it in the fire. This has no power over me. And then Josie has her smudge. She's a shaman, so she's going to be smudging. She's already smudging. She's the smudge queen. She's going to town out there, so you can get a little bit of that. And then when you come back in the sanctuary, come in the front door and then come up this aisle and get a white stone and a Sharpie. So these stones we get from Jerusalem. These are mined in a quarry in Jerusalem. So this represents the white stone that's mentioned in the book of Revelations, the 2nd chapter. Whoever has ears to hear, let them listen to what the Spirit is saying. To the one who is victorious, I will give some of the hidden manna. I will also give that person a white stone on which a new name is written and known only to the one who receives it. So you're victorious because you're releasing, you're forgiving, you're overcoming. There was a time where you couldn't be ordained as a unity minister until you had demonstrated an overcoming in your life. There are some New Thought churches that will not allow you to be a member until you've demonstrated an overcoming. And so what we're doing this morning is an overcoming. You are the ones that are being mentioned. All of us here are being mentioned in the book of Revelations to the one who is victorious. You are victorious. Can you say, I am victorious with me? I am victorious. And whoever is victorious receives some of the hidden manna. Metaphysically, the hidden manna represents the one invisible substance from which all things are made. At the beginning of time, there was only God, the one invisible, indivisible, eternal, never-ending, no beginning, no ending substance. And God made us out of itself in order to know us, in order to know itself as us. Yes, and so the hidden manna represents that substance, that part of the divine that you are. To the one who is victorious, the overcomer, I will give part of the hidden manna, the hidden substance. And then I'm going to write a new name on a white stone. The new name represents consciousness or nature. So there are plenty of stories in the Bible where somebody had an overcoming, somebody had an awakening, and they got a new name. Like Saul of Tarsus in the New Testament, persecuted Christians. He was a Roman guy, and he was killing especially the Jewish people that had converted to Christianity. He had a hatred towards them, and he was walking on the road to Damascus looking for people to torment, and he had a vision of Jesus appeared to him and said, Saul, why are you persecuting me? Why are you doing this? He was blinded for 3 days, and a man placed his hand on his face and blessed him and healed his blindness. And he had an overcoming. He had a transformation. He had a change of heart. And then he became calling himself Paul, which means little, humble, not trying to show out or look at me, what I'm doing. It's like I'm a humble servant. I am here to represent the divine in the world. I'm here to be that in the world. So this morning, you're going to get a name in meditation that represents your transformed, overcoming consciousness. And you write it on this white stone. On this rock, I will build my church. This rock represents our faith. Jesus said to Peter, on this rock, I will build my church. He was talking to Peter. Petros means rock, and it stands for faith. Our faith in the one invisible substance. Our faith in the idea that there is only one power and one presence in our lives. This is the rock on which we build our consciousness. So after we go outside and burn, this has no power over me, everything that we're ready to release, we come back inside and we receive our white stone and then spend time in the silence and take your Sharpie and write down your new name, your word. What is the word that you're here to express? What is the divine idea that you're here to express in 2024? It can be a word, it can be a color, it can be a picture, an impression, whatever comes to you in meditation, just write it down on your white stone. Okay, so take this stone, this white stone, the hidden manna, your rock, your faith, with your word, your nature on it, and work with it every day and listen to what the Spirit is saying to you, because God is talking to you. Are you listening? All right? So I want to end today with another affirmation. So I'm going to say it and ask you to say it back. By the power and in the presence of God. By the power and in the presence of God. This word of truth. Is planted in my consciousness. My life is filled. With the joyous radiance. Of its light.